starting a little late today. As you can see, the sun is actually not here, which is even more upsetting. I don't know. It's already over there, dang. I usually do these pretty early in the morning, but I had a very rough night. So we're starting a little late. It's bound to happen. At least I'm here, right? The little soul in you, in your body. The little soul that produces it all. I had a perfect way of saying it, but I'm not doing that, so apparently I'm not doing that. The little soul inside, I guess. Yeah. There's a little soul in each and every single one of us. Let's just say they are the source of all your creativity, whether it be good or bad. They're the source of what is considered your failures and what is considered your victories. They aren't those things, but they are where those things are produced. This little soul creates these incredibly large and almost beastly, I don't know if that's the right word, beastly ideas or agreements into the world. And as members of, or not really members, but as a, just need to make sure, as a partaker of this soul and what it does, sometimes we attach ourselves to these things that the soul produces. We tell ourselves that we are these things. We are our mistakes. We are our failures. We are our victories. We are the creativity that we make. But as we grow, we realize that that's always changing. That's always evolving. Always becoming more than what we always thought it would just be. One thing that doesn't change, one thing that we can always go back to or fall on when we are feeling hopeless or searching for some kind of conclusion or solution to our problem. One of the only things that we can do is go to what doesn't change. In religion, there's this central God or the central being that people go to pray to and to feel safe and feel heard, feel like they can ask for forgiveness there. For some people, they grew up in that situation where they're dealing with, not feeling connected to this being. And so it doesn't really help to go to this God or this spiritual being. So they search in other areas until they realize sometimes it's just all in themselves. They begin to explore themselves and see who they are and what they are made of, and what makes them strong, makes them powerful, makes them, once again, who they are. They discovered the little dude, the little soul. In their mind. Well, not in their mind, sorry. In them. It's not in your mind, it's in you. It's probably most likely in your gut, because that's where most of that feeling comes with. You may have this neural understanding of what's going on, but most of the time our actions are based on how our gut feels. And it can be debated that we can live without our gut or heart, and it can also be debated that we can live without our brain. But I think that also supports the case of what really doesn't change is the soul that is within us, the soul that was born from, this God. This God or this upper being that brought us into this world. He made this chassis, but I feel like we are fragments or bits and pieces of God himself. In the beginning of Genesis, I'm pretty sure that God breathed our souls into the bodies that he molded. And it reminds me of this idea that, God is our souls. He is the soul within us. And that soul, that little soul in our mind is what makes us do these miraculous things and accomplish these miraculous things. It's not our brain. It's not necessarily our brain that does these things. Our brain may grow and do certain things that seem mathematical or just genius. But at its core, there's this soul that makes all of that seem temporary. You could know so much about the world, but if you don't learn the value of detachment from everything and anything, to the point that it's become clear that all that really remains is that soul and witnessing all that it does and all that it creates. For me, there are many parts of this that feel very confusing. Like, what's the point? What's the necessity of having a soul that just witnesses Like, why does it exist, you know? Why does my soul exist? And I feel like that's a question that cannot be really answered, which I hate. I hate questions that can't be answered because it just feels so like trapping, you know? But I feel like it also exemplifies this idea of always trying to reach somewhere, you know, always trying to be something. You know, I feel like we're always trying to be something, but sometimes maybe we're supposed to be nothing. A friend of mine told me that once, and I felt very weirded out by it because it's like kind of like suicide, you know, like trying to reach a point where you're nothing. Like, what does that mean? You know, you can't just be nothing. You are something when you are even nothing. So how does that work? Most of my understanding has some verbal feeling or some visual feeling. Some things that I just don't necessarily grasp are where these come from. You know, where in my soul does it tell me to put lines in these specific areas? And why? Why is it important for it to be this way? Why does it have to be that? Why does it have to be this? Why does it have to be that? Why does it have to be this? You know? Like, where does that come from if I've never really thought of it? I draw several and millions of these, and not really millions, but you know what I mean. And they never really feel the same. Of course, they have like the swigglies and sometimes depth and hatching moments, but they never feel the same. They're never repeating. They never repeat. You can't repeat a drawing. Even if you try to repeat a drawing, there's still a change in atmosphere, a change in the lead that you're using, the pen that you're using, or whatever you're using. It will never be the same. It'll always be this unique drawing that you kind of molded into existence. And I think that's what's interesting about automatic drawing. It's that it'll never be the same, and sometimes you'll never understand why. It's what it is, you know, you'll never understand why it is what it is. If you're searching for something that doesn't change, I wholeheartedly do feel as though there's two things to me that feel like they never change. One of them is pure, and then the other one is, well, I guess they're both pure. They're both pure and consistent. Our soul, which is always producing, always creating, always experiencing, never changes. It's always going to be there. It doesn't try and fit into an idea or something like that. It seems like it's not very present because we're so focused on the mind and trying to be something. But when we look at our soul, it's not, you know, our soul isn't trying to stick with this one idea. Our soul produced the brain. Our soul produced the heart and the brain produce these ideas of what you think and how you feel. And the way I say it now just makes me even more want to dig deep in the truth of that, but I feel like it just helps to feel that way now, because other than that, I think that present is pure, you know? Being present and being aware of all that is right now will always be pure, even if it's for a moment. It'll always be pure. I find that to be very interesting and enlightening. I went to an art show with 2 kids. I was babysitting them, basically. I'm their art mentor. And we checked out this artist who did like these really big paintings of just like black and like one blue line in the center, and there was like a big circle or a small circle and a black canvas that's painted all black. And it was one that he wrote like these sayings on the side of some of the paintings or on the walls. And one of them was mentioning this idea of what is pure, you know, like we are to create or to experience what is only pure, and what is only considered pure, something like that. And I told them, you know, I think he means present. They probably don't understand what I'm talking about. Pretty young in their stage of art careers, but I was like, I think he's talking about present, because like when I look at these paintings, it's not necessarily about what he did. You know, like I feel like that's what interests me, but like that's the paradigm of it, paradigm or freaking oddity of it, that like it isn't what he did, it is the fact that what he did is what is interesting to me at this point. There's this phenomenon in what I feel to be interesting in the present moment. Isn't that interesting? I think that's just phenomenal. I think that's just chaotic to just notice that it's all in your mind's eye. It's all in your way of viewing things, all in the way of like what is really your presence, what is considered presence for you. And I also think that he was trying to say, what is the paintings drawing for you? Like, what does it feel to you? Like, you know, I don't really feel much in the paintings. I think that I'm more curious about the process. You know, I've always been really curious about the process. I think everyone should be curious about the process. Watch my process video. I'm glad that I have the ability to say that now. Like, watch my process video. Watch my process video. There's a video about process. But yeah, that's what I wanted to share today. And I hope you guys got something out of that one. And that was a pretty interesting talk. Yeah. And I'm sorry for the lighting. That's partly because of snow and the clouds blocking, and also I did this a little late. But whatever. That's life. Anyways, thank you for watching, and thank you for joining me on my practice. And I hope that you have a wonderful day. And experience that little dude in your body. That little dude inside of you. Experience it, you know. Experience what it's doing, what it's feeling, what it's creating, you know. Don't attach yourself to it, but just experience it. Yeah. I say that to you now, but I will say that I'm not there, you know. You're only there if you believe that you're there, but I know that, like, I'm not there, and by making these videos, I'm reassuring myself of what I want to be, and how I kind of already am that, you know? You say it into existence, and that's what you are. So, experience that little dude The little dude in you. I'll call it that. And then people will just be like clueless as to what the heck I'm talking about. Anyways, thank you for watching. And have a wonderful day.